Well, today is the day. Our United States election is now fully underway with people hitting the voting booths all across the United States of America. And I got to be frank with you, I've got a major red alert to share with you today. In fact, my dear friend, one of my best friends, gave me this emotional support dumpster fire. And it says, I'm fine, everything is fine. In the event that it goes south later, I'm going to have my little dumpster fire friend on. But anyway, this thing is so cute. I'm like, I'm going to keep it. You never know. And quite frankly, I am worried about how the election is going to go down. So that said, please get out and vote. If you have not cast your vote early, please get out there and do it today. Vote now and vote like your country depends on it, because I got to be frank, your country does depend on you, and it does depend on your vote. And for those of you who are out there saying, oh, I'm not going to vote, it's messed up anyway, it doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, the whole 9 yards. How dare you do that? Get out and please vote. And if you don't like me saying that, I'm not going to apologize for saying that. If you unsubscribe, you unsubscribe. The truth of the matter is we need you today more than ever before. Do not let us down. I don't care your preconceived views or what you think or don't think. We have to get in and we have to make our voices heard. So I'm asking you to do that, because I certainly don't want the Democrats to win. And keep in mind, we also have our local elections, and we have the House at stake, the Senate at stake. In fact, they are predicting, God forbid, a win in the Senate. And I really hope that doesn't happen, because that's downright terrifying. I could think a win in the House, but please just make your voice heard. Don't make us have a dumpster fire later in the day. But with that, my red alert is really this, right? Number one, get out and vote. If we don't get out and vote, we're not going to win. It's that easy. Number two, the best thing that we could have happen on election day is a complete blowout for Donald J. Trump, right? A complete win. Obviously, I would love, red across the board and to see that kind of win, but we need this win. And here's why we need this win: because the Democrats need to be shown that what they have done over the past, 20 some odd years or 16 some odd years, however long they've been in power, less the 4 Trumps with Donald Trump, but what they've done over the past few years, specifically the last 4 years, right, is not acceptable to the American people. So we need an absolute blowout for Donald J. Trump. And here's what I'm talking about. The Democrats don't deserve to win. And I wrote a list here, so I'm going to kind of reference that because I want to make sure that I touch everything. Number one, they waged unprecedented lawfare against their political opponents, right? We all know that Donald Trump is now a convicted felon, not because he actually committed any crimes here, because the entire criminal case was based off a very liberal jury pool and a very liberal judge, right? And I believe it will eventually get appealed. But either way, the Biden administration went after him, regardless of the fact that the statutes of limitations were up, that these kinds of crimes have never been convicted on anyone. Hey, and not to mention Joe Biden himself was guilty of the same crimes, ergo the document case, right? Donald Trump had documents and classified information. Well, so did Joe Biden. And what did they do? Well, they went after and tried to convict Donald J. Trump. And then for Joe Biden, they said, oh, he's too old, we're not going to convict him. Not really an even justice system. The Democrats have to learn and have to understand that the American people are fed up with what they have done. And one way we can do that, again, is through a blowout. And not to mention, they arrested Steve Bannon, Mike Flynn, pro-lifers. They went after pro-lifers with extreme jail sentences who blocked their ways into abortion clinics, but did not give the same kind of criminal, they did not prosecute pro-abortionists the same way when they literally burnt down buildings. This is an uneven justice system, not to mention labeling Catholics as potential terrorists and conservatives, purging us from all the different branches, right? From the FBI, there's whistleblowers who came out and talk about conservatives being purged. And of course, all of that, right? Number two, they weaponized all their 3-letter agencies. We've been talking about that in detail on my channel. Number three, they turned our federal agencies agencies into Democrat get out and vote agencies. And as a reminder, this is the executive order signed by Obama on promoting access to voting. In other words, they encouraged all their federal agencies to, well, promote voter registration and voter participation. And that's the very least of those things. In other words, let's gear it more towards Democrat areas and get them voting, right? Number 4, another one here, they harassed people who so much as questioned procedures and results of the U.S. election. If they didn't like what you were saying on these social media platforms, bam, you were gone. Bam, you were attacked. Bam, you're an election denier. They started labeling people and harassing people who thought things like that. Number 5, colluded with big tech oligarchs to throttle true opinions that they didn't like and called it misinformation. They specifically targeted COVID, the vaccine, the United States election, and of course, Hunter Biden's laptop, information on Joe Biden, and the information goes on. But that's really the Biden administration has been colluding with them to shut a lot of this information down, right? Number 6, they use the mainstream media as their own propaganda arm for the Democrat Party. Now, they have literally been taken over by the Democrat Party or a lot of these 3-letter agencies. So the media has been working in conjunction for the most part, I believe, with the Democrat Party. Number 7, they called the rioters who literally burned down our cities peaceful protesters, right? Number 8, they implemented mandates and forced people to take vaccines and wear masks against their will. And meanwhile, they want to claim that they're not fascists and they're a democracy while forcing people to do things they don't want to do. And by the way, claiming my body, my choice with women, but it went out the door when it came to all these rules and regulations like the vaccine. Number 9, they lied about the physical fitness of their commander-in-chief. I mean, they knew. They obviously knew. And just like one day over that, suddenly he's not fit anymore. Just, one day. And then they ignited a coup against Joe Biden and installed Kamala Harris and called it democracy when their own people were not even able to vote her in. I don't see how a single Democrat can vote for that woman, seeing that she wasn't selected and voted in by the American people. She wasn't voted in by the American people, but she was selected by a group of Democrat elitists. That should be a dumpster fire for the Democrat Party there. Number 10, they lied, right, about crime statistics and, of course, the employment numbers. Remember, the FBI quietly revised the numbers, not only on the crime statistics, but the employment numbers were also revised, right? Oops, we're like, almost a million. Oops, we were 1 million off, or 800 something off. And number 11, the Supreme Court of the United States told Biden that you can't give out those student loans. And Biden gave them the big FU middle finger and did it anyway and continues to do it anyway. That's not really how democracy is supposed to work. So what I'm saying is, the American people need to tell the Democrat Party everything that they've done over, especially these last 4 years, is not acceptable. It's not okay. And that's not freedom and that's not democracy when you try to shut down your opposition, right? In fact, those have all the earmarks of what someone would do if they wanted to destroy a country, not to mention dividing our country, not even on that list. And I'll add this one. I didn't put it on there, but dividing our country through these DEI initiatives and policies, basing everything off of race and the color of your skin and pitting people against each other, saying white people are privileged and black and people of color are victims. This is not how you spread unity and love in a country. It's almost as if they want us divided. This is why I call this a red alarm fire for this election. And by the way, if you didn't hear the news, Joe Rogan did endorse Donald J. Trump. So I guess that's a little good news if you guys like him. But basically, get out and vote. If you're not out there voting, you're part of the reason that the Democrats are winning. And I'm just going to put it that way. Anyhow, I love you guys. I'm going to try to get on later today. No promises, but depends on how late the election goes and if we even have a result. As most of them been saying, hopefully you watched my report yesterday. I kind of did a whole breakdown of all of that, but I'm nervous how it's going to go. I really am, to be honest with you. I don't know which way it's going to go. I would make a prediction, but I'm not I'm not going to, because right now I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm afraid for our country. And I'm going to agree with Elon Musk that if we don't win this election, that this is the last election that we will basically be able to have as Republicans. I don't think a Republican will ever be elected into office again, at least a real one, especially if they give all these illegal aliens amnesty, because naturally you're going to vote for the person giving you lots of handouts. So more of them will vote for the Democrats. And if they give them amnesty, we won't have that freedom anymore. And our country is going to look like San Francisco, Detroit, Michigan, Tim Waltz's area there, to say the least. And welcome to the third world. So make your voice count. Anyhow, I love you guys. Can't wait to read your comments. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.